Hey folks, my name is Ed Travers. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm an Anglican priest serving in the beautiful parish of Christchurch-shelburne that sits on the ancestral and on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. One of the friends of the channel will often quote something that I always find inspiring. It always makes me think. And so today's reflection, this is going to be as much a thought experiment and my opinion, something that maybe generates a little conversation between us, generates some opened eyes, some opened hearts to why we are the way that we are. Now, the comment runs a little something like this. It comes in many iterations, but it runs a little something like this. Why would a perfect God create an imperfect species? Why would a perfect God create a species that needs to grow, that needs to develop, that needs to become something greater? It's a great question. Now, we take evolution out of it because every species on the planet, every animal, every plant, everything that grows here on this planet evolves over time. It evolves for its environment, and it evolves for the weather. It evolves to deal with predators. It evolves to access more water, more food, more sunlight. We evolve. Everything continues to change. Why is it that God, perfect, good old God, creator of the universe, Lord of all things, omnipotent, knower of all, designer of all, why would God create a species like us who's imperfect, who has to grow and develop? Well, the answer, I think, may actually be that we have a misunderstanding of who we actually are. As a people, as humanity, we actually have a misunderstanding about who we are. Now, the Bible very clearly tells us that we are imperfect, that we are sinners, that we are wrong. Well, you know all the stuff that it tells us, and sometimes it doesn't make us feel very good about ourselves. But what if what the Bible is saying isn't that we are broken, but rather our perception of ourselves is broken. Our understanding of ourselves is broken. What if, and follow me on this one, what if we are perfect, but we don't see it? What if we are perfect, but we are so heavily laden with all of the myth of what it means to be a human being? What if we are perfect, but we are carrying just an extraordinary amount of baggage that has been foisted upon us? What if we are perfect, but our self-understanding, our self-awareness is so corrupted that we can't see that? We were created in God's image. Therefore, we were created in the image of the perfect. What if, when we bit into that fruit in that story we all know, what if it wasn't a matter that that's when sin entered our lives, but rather that's when we adopted, we accepted a false image of who we actually are? And that this growth that we are asked to do, these changes we are asked to make, this transformation we are asked to undergo, is not about becoming something better, but rather it's about shedding the myth and the baggage that we carry. It's about letting go of the perception we've adopted of ourselves. And it's about embracing the reality that we are royalty, that we are heirs to the throne of God, that we are children of the divine, created in God's image, that we, through Christ, are finally able to see ourselves as the perfect, beautiful, wonderful beings that we are. That the work we actually have to do, the work we are called to do, is to shed all things, to let go of all things that impede this image of ourselves. That all we're really being asked to do is embrace who we actually are. Why did a perfect God create an imperfect species? God didn't. We've just managed over the centuries, over the eons, the millennia, to convince ourselves that we're imperfect. Our goal now, through the help of God, through the help of Christ, is to shed those beliefs, to step into the roles that we are all created to fill. May the Lord bless you, may the Lord keep you, may the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you, may you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray that we will be able to see ourselves as creations cast in the image of God. And that we will work to shed any belief system, any belief pattern, any limiting belief that we may carry that tells us that we are somehow inadequate and insufficient and imperfect. That we will be the wondrous people that God created us to be. Amen.